The disappearing hitchhiker in 1950s Pennsylvania, a man named John was driving home late one night, taking a quiet, winding road through a dense forest. The night was dark, and the rain had begun to fall heavily, making the road slippery. As he drove, he noticed a lone figure standing by the side of the road, a woman with long, wet hair, dressed in a silk white dress, looking like she was in distress. Feeling sympathy, John slowed down and offered her a ride. The woman hesitated at first, then climbed into the passenger seat. She seemed quiet, almost distant, but she was clearly cold and shivering from the rain. As they drove, John tried to make conversation, but the woman barely spoke. She would only respond with short, quiet answers. The air in the car felt heavy and uncomfortable. Then, after a while, she gave him a strange look and told him to pull over. "We're almost there," she said softly. John pulled the car over by a lonely intersection where there were no other vehicles in sight. The woman opened the door to exit, but before she stepped out, she turned to John one last time and said, "I'll be fine now, thank you." John nodded, watching her walk off into the night, disappearing into the heavy rain. But something was off. He didn't see her walk away into the darkness. Instead, it was like she had just vanished into thin air, as if she had never been there at all. Confused and shaken, John drove the rest of the way home, trying to make sense of what had just happened. The next day, he heard a chilling story in town. A woman, dressed in white, had been found dead years ago, just a few miles from where he had picked up the hitchhiker. She had been killed in a car accident during a storm. It was then that John realized the horrifying truth. The woman he had picked up wasn't a living person. She had been a ghost, still haunting the road where she had died, waiting for someone to help her cross over. To this day, no one knows the full story, but many who drive along that road at night report seeing a woman in white, only to find her gone just as suddenly as she appears.